Hi y'all, this is Miss McNabb. I'm just going to go over some parallel and perpendicular slopes and writing linear equations with them with you real quick. Shouldn't be too tricky. We already know how to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form when we're given a slope and a y-intercept. So we already know if they tell us that our slope is 2, we put that in for our m, and if they tell us our y-intercept is 5, we put that in for our b, and then we are good to go. Today, they're just making us think a little bit more about what number are we going to use for that slope. So they're giving us an equation and then asking us to write a line either parallel or perpendicular to that line. So I've given you some space over here to write out what your new m and b are going to be, and then you can write out your equation. So the directions for example 1 say, write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line that is parallel to the equation below and has a y-intercept of 4. So when it tells us it's parallel, I know that that's giving me a hint about the slope. And then I'm going to have to go look at my equation that they gave me to figure out what my slope is going to be. I know that parallel lines have the same slope. So if my original equation has a slope of 3, then the equation I'm going to write is also going to have a slope of 3. Because parallel means same slope, at least. So if my original equation has a slope of 3, my new equation will have a slope of 3. So that told me all about my slope. And now, this is super easy. We've done this before. I know that my y-intercept is going to be 4. And this is really familiar from here. You know how to do this. We've got our y equals. We know that our m value is 3. And then we have x. And then our new y-intercept, we're not going to write -5 because we're writing a new equation. Our y-intercept is going to be 4, and it's plus 4 because it's a plus in our original equation. And then our 4 is positive that they gave us in the problem. Or in our formula, it's plus 4. And then they gave us a positive number in our problem. So there is your line that is parallel to the one they gave us. And again, I know it's parallel because they have the same slope. I'll give you just a second to go ahead and either screenshot or pause so you can work on that for a minute. Okay, number 2. Now we need to write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line that is perpendicular. Again, telling us it's perpendicular means that it's telling us about the slope. It's perpendicular to this line, and it has a y-intercept of -6. So let's go ahead and fill in my b value first. That's easy breezy, beautiful. So we know that our b value is going to be -6. Okay, now we have a little bit of a tricky situation with our slope, but I bet we can figure it out. When we're finding perpendicular slopes, we need to remember that's the situation where, sorry about that, that was the bell. Remember that's the situation where we need to put our thing down, flip it, and reverse it, like we talked about. And it's the inverse reciprocal is the fancy math way we say it. But really we know that we just need to flip it and reverse it. So if I'm given -1/2 is the slope in the line that they gave us, and I need to find a perpendicular slope, I know that I need to flip it. So it's going to be 2 over 1. And then I also know I need to reverse it. So if it's negative, it goes positive. If it's positive, it goes negative. So this just turns into positive 2 over 1, which can also, because I'm fancy like that, I know that 2 over 1 is the same as 2. Those mean the same thing. So now I have enough information to write my equation. I know it's going to be y equals 2 is my new slope, 2x. I'm not going to write minus, oh wait, I am going to write minus 6 because my y-intercept value didn't change. So it is still going to be minus 6, but only because it carried from the other problem. So we do have 2x minus 6. Go ahead and put a line, put a box around that one. And again, I know that my slopes are perpendicular because I have 2. And if I were to flip that, I'd have 1 over 2. And if I were to reverse it, I'd have negative 1 over 2, which is the slope from my original equation. I'm going to go ahead and put in here so it's a little less confusing so we can understand that this is just, we're flipping it. So we're doing a step here, but then when we do the equal sign with the arrow, that means we're just like changing it to something that's equivalent. Okay, I'll give you guys a second to screenshot or pause this one. Okay, last step. Number 3, write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line that is perpendicular to the equation. Again, the word perpendicular clues me in. Oh, we're talking about slope there. Perpendicular to the equation below and has a y-intercept of 2. So easy breezy, right off the bat, I can go ahead and fill in my y-intercept is my b value, and that is 2. Done there, that's easy. But now remember, I need to look at that perpendicular slope. So the slope that I'm given in my original problem that they want me to work from is, they gave me 7. Okay, so I know that I have 7. I know that whenever I have a whole number slope, I can always put a denominator of 1 under it. So if it doesn't have a denominator, I can always add a denominator of 1. Now I need to flip it. So that turns into 1/7. And I need to reverse it. So this is positive over here. So my answer is going, or my new slope is going to be negative. Ooh. Well, that didn't turn out very well at all, did it? Okay, so my new slope is going to be negative. That didn't turn out much better. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and write my new equation. So it is going to be y equals, I'm using my new slope, y equals negative 1/7 x, and then it's going to be plus 2. So that is my new equation. And let's see, I do know that these two lines are perpendicular because their slopes are inverse reciprocals, which means we put our thing down, flip it, and reverse it like we talked about. Remember, that's the only part of that song we're going to sing. But we did, we have flipped it. That's the reciprocal, and we've got the inverse. That's the positive to negative. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Other than that, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.